Chivalry 2 is currently available at no extra cost for PlayStation Plus subscribers. Honestly, I can't recommend it enough. It's a lot of fun to play online. It's essentially the Battlefield games, but in medieval times. It can be super chaotic, but there's also a pretty high skill ceiling, especially when it comes to 1v1 duels, which is what we're going to cover today, as it's the best way to get to grips with the game's mechanics. So the first thing you want to do as soon as you load the game up is go into the settings, select options, and then you want to make sure that attack direction from movement input is enabled. I think there was an update that made it so that it was enabled by default, but just double check to make sure. What this does is makes it so that whatever direction you're moving your character is the direction that they'll attack from. This is important because it gives you a lot more control, and without it enabled, you'll always attack from the right side first, which can be very predictable. Next tip is using the crouch button to dodge attacks. Chivalry has very accurate hitboxes, so you can duck straight under attacks or even lean out the way if you're quick enough. On PlayStation, hold down R3 to duck under attacks like this, when either standing still or moving forwards. And you can also lean backwards or sideways like this to get out of a tight spot, by moving in a different direction while holding the crouch button. The most important aspect of Chivalry's combat is footwork and positioning. It's really important that you complete the main tutorial because that fully covers how to counter and parry. I don't think it goes in depth enough about how important footwork is, so that's what I'm going to cover in this video. Even just a tiny movement or sidestep can give you a huge opening. Watch how I use positioning in this clip to get the perfect strike. I know that by moving just slightly outside of his range and timing my attack, the enemy is completely defenseless. You should only really ever need to block or parry as a last resort. The best defense, ideally, is just simply not getting hit at all. When you're in a 1v1 duel, you've got a little bit more time to make decisions and psych out your opponent. You can also do various types of feints or false attacks like this. So here what I did is threw out an attack that I knew had absolutely no chance of connecting, and I was banking on the fact that my opponent would take this as an opportunity and an opening. But I threw out a thrust attack straight away, knowing that he would charge forward. You can also feint by cancelling an attack during its wind up. So just before you reach the point where you're going to actually throw the swing, press the input for a different type of attack and you'll switch. So here I was doing a side strike, switched to an overhead strike, completely caught him off guard and used footwork to get around his shield. Another useful tip is following up a successful strike with a kick. Kicks are only useful against an opponent who's blocking because it breaks their guard. The good news is that most players will immediately panic once they've been hit and go into a guard, so it's usually best to throw out a kick straight away. There's a good chance that you'll break their guard, leaving them open for another strike. Just be warned that advanced players don't usually fall for this trick, but you'll be surprised how many duels you can win just by throwing out attack, kick, attack, kick. This play was pretty good. They managed to drain my stamina completely, which disarmed me, and I automatically switched to my axe. Now the axe obviously has a shorter range than my sword, so I have to manage that by making sure I accommodate it in my footwork and get in a little bit closer. But because it has a faster swing, it's easy to get behind enemy strikes once you've made a successful dodge. Hit them before they can recover and put up a guard. So I hope you found this video useful. As always, like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've been playing Chivalry and how you're finding it, and also let me know if you'd like to see more content like this. See you in the next one.